just going to force them out of position. But this is a stalemate between the two.
I think it's a little bit of an awkward fight for these teams. If they do try to commit for it, I feel like this is going to be a very dangerous bloodbath for these teams. But EVOS, I think they're preparing in case a rush does eventually happen. So it's up to P Esports if they want to be the ones to try and make that rush. Does it happen anytime soon, then they're probably just going to wait and see where that next circle is going to end up going. And yeah, I think we're not going to see any movement now. I think this is where both teams sort of camp out and see if anyone else gives them an opportunity. Laho, that was very close.
The next circle is going to be pretty crucial. And quite a number of players thinking that it's going to land somewhere between Kota Tua as well as Peak. And it is land exactly there. And a great rotation as well by Buriram. So they don't really have to move all that too much. But Falcons maybe looking to take them out of the equation here before entering this next circle. There is another squad outside and behind Buriram as well that could pose to be a huge threat. Let's see what happens to Buriram this time around.
And now we have RRQ hunting around, sharing the same compound with GOW, who are on this rooftop, I believe. And Demon, he is going to be spotted there by RRQ, so unfortunately for GOW, if they move the wrong way, we know Dutz wants some blood. This man is hungry. He is so hungry. He's ready to take anything. But
it's such a tight spot.
Such a tight spot, AJ, and limited compounds now. But very little resources. You have to fight for those resources now.
And of course the circle's just squeezing everyone in on the 11th minute, 11 seconds, 11 more teams left in here, but full squads, 44 total players. And that just means this is about to turn into a party at Bermuda. High ground, taken by GOW, great rotation from them. Falcons are going to be pressured here because Toda looking for the rotation in. And of course, RRQ may just show up on that roof as well shortly. So GOW needs to watch out. And if they do get up there, Falcons are going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, Diane's been caught there by Falcons. So GOW, even on the rooftop, they're not safe. But now everybody's kind of waiting now, AJ. They're trying to figure out, okay, where's this next circle going to be?
I'm not too keen on the position held here by Toda. Playing a huge risk, and if they want, they have to take the spot of Falcons away right here, right now.
All right. Where is it going, AJ? My gosh.
A great spot held here by Team Pharaoh, so they don't really have to rotate all that too much. Falcons up against Toda. These teams need to move 29 seconds, not just to make your decision, but to make your move and to find those eliminations as you get into the next circle. Pina finding the connection and the steppy pop at a timely manner, but Toda's not really looking to top those nades in just yet.
Yep, and
what a
this
shot.
trench. Yeah, they're going to fight this Todak for this trench because this is the best line of natural cover that they can get their hands on, but they're going to lose Korora for this very expensive battle here. They will be able to eliminate Todak, but they've lost Korora. And I kind of feel like, was that maybe too expensive of a loss, AJ?
Oh, GOW was the biggest winner in that engagement, and Pina gets the revenge. This is what you get for sneaking away our points, but as they fly on in, the recovery instantly pop here by GOW. The time turner played really well. GOW wanted to go in here for the finisher. They could have just taken their chances with that high ground, but they wanted to take that up close and personal fight up against Falcons, who were looking for the recovery, and they picked on the wrong monsters. They lose 3 players in succession. GOW from in a good spot to a really bad spot now.
Yeah, oh boy. This is getting very dangerous now. Now, Buriram, they're out in the open using glue walls, but they want this trench that Falcons have just secured for themselves, but they're just not feeling confident enough to try and fight for this anymore. So now that circle, as it moves, Falcons and Buriram also needs to move alongside it. And while they do, they're out in the open. Glue walls becoming one of the most important resources as they travel along the blue zone.
Yeah, great play thus far. Wasana trying to back up the rest of his team members with those shots. RRQ trying their best to stay silent. Recovery on one of their crucial players, Dutz here, who has the grenade launcher in hand, but Ma'al shot down to the ground. Recovery impossible. Zenzi finds the Punisher. Now EWOS up against RRQ and Dutz shut down, and that is the key player to take out of the equation because his nades could have done EWOS in. PE Sports not giving the squad any time to recover. The pincer shuts down RRQ and prevents a back-to-back booyah.
We're going to be getting a new team that gets that booyah for this round, but who is it going to be? GOW eliminated in 6th place for the round, leaving us with our top 5 teams. And that circle is shifting to the right, and I don't believe anyone is there, so we're going to be seeing a massive dogfight amongst our remaining 5 teams. Mojo being caught out there by Jump on the side of Pharaoh. Loho being caught there by Explorer as well. Cougar eliminating Jonah. Brewer is out of the game.
And WAG could not stand tall up against EWOS, who has decided to wake up in the competition. Pharaoh had the better chance here of looking for the circle, but they didn't want to stand outside like sitting ducks. They take the fight to EWOS, and grenade launcher after launcher into the house, and Dawn wins it out in style. It's Team Pharaoh with their comeback booyah at Bermuda.
And what an amazing way to end the game for Pharaoh, who had a very tough 2 games for our playdate today, finally catching a break, and at the same time securing a low elimination point as well. I do believe they were sitting on 12 before the fight happened, so add 4 on top of that and they will get 16 eliminations plus those booyah points. Ooh, Pharaoh going to be feeling much better in game number 3, and maybe even thinking now, do we have a chance at maybe swiping away that first place ourselves?
I mean, guys, don't forget to hit that like, by the way. Like Karo, stream at Like Karo. You know what it is, baby. We need to get this up to 2,000 likes before we end the broadcast, when we are only halfway through. Who would have expected Pharaoh to pull away the booyah? But that's exactly what you can find in a game where you've got 11 teams surviving up to the 11th minute. That was just way too many squads, way too many players for such a tight little compound. And GOW threw away one of their biggest opportunities. Of course, they had to rotate because the circle was moving on in, but the timing that they played up against Falcons was so unfortunate. With their high ground, they could have punished Falcons, but instead they wanted to CQC and they got punished instead.
It's probably nerves. You know, you think you're making the right play, and with just so many factors, like the more teams or players are within an area, there's so many elements that you just don't have control over anymore. Whether somebody decides to third party, whether somebody decides to launch themselves in. So unless you're the one making all the calls in that match, it's just, yeah, sometimes you have to take those risks. You got to make those risky plays. I mean, I feel for GOW. This was supposed to be a map where they have their redemption arc, when they can put themselves back up on that leaderboard. And I mean, I think they did the best with what they could. It was just too many external factors that really limited them from being able to play their absolute best. So, I mean, I hope they have a plan for these next 3 games, because there's no more Bermuda. You've got other maps that you have to play. And are you confident enough to get those points on those maps? We'll have to find out.
And the right elements need to play its own role for that final circle battle in order for you to pull away the booyah. And obviously Team Pharaoh had the right weapon in their pockets. That grenade launcher in the hands of Dawn. The team barely needed to do any work. You know, no glue wall melters, no riptide rhythm, nothing. It's just this guy pumping in lethal after lethal, nade after nade, getting those clips, and of course the wipeout. A tad bit unfortunate for RRQ that got pincered by 2 squads as they try to make their way in. And obviously at one point of time, if Dutz had been a little bit more proactive with his own grenade launcher, it could have been a world of difference for the side of RRQ. They would have been able to snuff out the team of EWOS, but you know, EWOS just didn't give them any room for that at all. Those glue balls were played really well, and they disabled their big brothers RRQ from walking away with a triple booyah to kick this day off. But of course, at the same time, they put themselves in a little bit of a pickle as well. They could not walk away with their own booyah.
So we finished up 3 games here today so far, ladies and gentlemen. We've still got 3 more to go, but obviously the players, they're going to have to sort of think, okay, if you're not in a great spot after the halfway point, what do you change, right? Like, you've got to change something, because clearly whatever you're doing today, or at least for the first 3 games, has not worked. And for the teams in the front, what do you do to stay in the front? Do you continue doing what you're doing now, or do you maybe consider changing things up? Because obviously we're going to start seeing some teams adapt because they've already got things on. They know who's the strong teams, who are the ones securing all the points, who do we need to shut down, who could we maybe even harass. Sometimes in tournaments you start seeing these teams that are struggling for points, they will harass the other bottom performers to get those cheeky points in and to push themselves up that leaderboard.
And with this solid game, Pharaoh, they have managed to sneak themselves into the top 3 for sure because they were pretty close. They didn't really have bad games in the first 2 maps. And this was that one opportune moment that they have managed to grab here for themselves to really put themselves right back into the fight, right? If we look at their past matches, we'll catch up with that in a little bit. Let's look at some of their performances here as well. With Jump walking away with 3 eliminations, 3 knockdowns, 1,899 on the damage as the rusher of the squad, rocking the Oscar, had the Joseph as well as Ford on him. And this is one of those standard combos, right? That Ford is going to help you recover as you start taking a little bit of damage. And Joseph is just going to negate any bit of those debuffs that you do encounter in the fights, which allows you a little bit more leeway up close and personal. And the man actually walks away with 10 solid assists thanks to that.
10 assists. I mean, it doesn't matter whether you get the assist or the knock, right? At the end of the day, if your team gets the eliminations, that's all that matters, okay? A kill's a kill. So you gotta grab those points wherever you can. But, okay, I kind of want to ask you here, AJ, like, what do you feel for Pharaoh? Why did they struggle for those first 2 games? Was it really just a case of unfortunate events and they ran into the wrong teams? Or did they maybe do something that kind of set them back for the first 2 games and they changed it up in game number 3?
Yeah, early engagements were the main reasons why Pharaoh fell in both Kalahari as well as Nextera, because they were getting eliminations, but they were getting eliminated way too early, therefore unable to collect those placement points. But this time around, they stayed silent all the way until the mid part of the game, where Chaos kind of broke free. They were also in the right place at the right time to pull away some decent points for themselves, kind of playing through the periphery, not getting involved in some of the bigger team fights. But the circle also kind of favored them quite a little bit, right? And like I said, after playing 2 very mediocre matches, 9 points on Nextera, 6 points in Kalahari, this massive 28 points launches them into that second spot, and now they are in the running to qualify for the grand finals early. But of course, knowing Pharaoh, the lack of consistency, I'm not really going to count on that all that too much, but I hope they can keep this up though.
Look how close that top of the leaderboard is, though. So yes, okay, RRQ is still leading by 57, like they're leading with 57 points. But after that, though, 43, 42, 41, and 40. Like the top 5, 2 to 5, absolutely within reach. I kind of feel like EVOS might be getting a little bit too far to compete for that first spot, but I mean, Pharaoh, Falcons, WEG, and Round, I think if you just have 2 to 3 more great rounds, and I think at some point you also have to say RRQ kind of need to fall down in one of these games, the door is still wide open for anyone to take that first spot today. So if you're RRQ and you're an RRQ fan, I think you want to start feeling a bit scared now. You need to basically ask RRQ, hey, you guys gotta perform for these next 3 games. You have to be top 3 for these last 3 games. If you're not top 3, I think if they even finish in the middle of the pack, I think this might slip away, that first place.
Yeah, unless you want to pull a Pharaoh and get a massive game right after this. Even PE Sports can stand a good chance to get that number 1 spot, right? Of course, it's going to be a massive game followed by 2 consistent matches in order to be able to get that. And like you said, getting into the top 3 is going to be very crucial for the teams to sneak themselves in there. But of course, I think overall, that was a really good game from the side of Pharaoh. But the other teams have to use them as inspiration, right? After kind of doing really badly in the first 2 maps, a comeback is still possible. And if Pharaoh can do it, the other teams definitely can catch up as well.
Yeah, but also you have to think, RRQ, somebody's got to deal with this team, or you kind of hope maybe they just do very badly on one of these 3 maps. Actually, statistically speaking, AJ, for our last 3 maps, which one is their weakest map, statistically?
Let's keep that one out of the question for the time being, because if you look at the other teams, for example, Falcons, statistically, Alpine Solara, they do really bad there, but we want to catch up on the conversation in a little bit. We've got an interview coming up for you guys after that, followed by a quick short break. When we come back, the final 3 matches of the day. Make sure you guys don't go anywhere.
Alright, survivors, we're halfway through the games today, and as per usual, we're gonna have a bit of a conversation with one of your favorite players, and this time, it's coming from RRQ Kazu. Here is the king of the devil himself. Langsung kita sapa bersama-sama ya, katanya Raja Iblis nih, pasti keren banget nih. Siapa lagi kalau bukan Maal? Hello Maal. Everyone please say hello to Maal. Hai Mal, boleh ya kita ngobrol-ngobrol sebentar, mumpung kita lagi jeda sejenak, ngumpulin nafas dan juga semangatnya lagi nih ya. Oke, Mal, saat ini kalau kita lihat RRQ Kazu sangat positif, 2 buya berturut-turut di game pertama dan juga game kedua, dan untuk sementara juga memimpin today standings. Apa yang sedang kamu rasakan? Apa yang memotivasi RRQ untuk perform lebih baik lagi dari biasanya di match day hari ini? Silahkan dipikir-pikir jawabannya, aku sambil translate dulu ke teman-teman kita di Asia Tenggara ya. So Maal, seeing how incredible RRQ Kazu has been performing today, 2 buyas in a row, and currently leading today's standings, what exactly that motivates you and RRQ to perform even better today?
Yang dirasakan sih belum senang karena masih ada 3 match lagi sih.
Aha, jadi dirasakan masih belum happy, masih ada 3 match lagi, artinya masih belum berpuas diri nih.
Ya, betul.
Ya, betul. Irit banget sih jawabannya. Gara-gara di sana jual mahal nih. Tapi nggak apa-apa. Aku akan translate dulu. So he's feeling happy, but he's not satisfied yet because there's still 3 games left, and RRQ still wants to do even better. So yeah, let's see how they goes in the next 3 games. Oke, sekarang yang berikutnya nih, Mal, kalau ngelihat persaingan sejauh ini, kemarin kan soalnya kalau berkaca dari Clash Squad Mode, RRQ nih ternyata tidak sesuai harapan. Banyak yang bilang juga, iya, RRQ tuh jagonya di Battle Royale, bukan di Clash Squad. Tanggapan kamu seperti apa? Aku translate dulu ya, seperti biasa ya. What would you like to say to the fans or to all the survivors who thinks that RRQ Kazu is only meant for Battle Royale because you guys don't really perform well the other day when it comes to the Clash Squad mode?
Kayaknya benar sih kata orang. Kalau kita tuh jago di versi, kalau CS agak kurang lah.
Kenapa kamu pasrah banget sih, Mal? Jawabannya. Ada lagi yang mau disampaikan gitu yang bisa lebih memotivasi kamu dan juga teman-teman kamu gitu?
Udah nggak ada, cukup udah.
Okay, so apparently the answer is yeah, maybe RRQ is indeed better when it comes to the Battle Royale instead of the Clash Squad mode, but at least they're doing something and at least they're doing it right because obviously they got the first 2 booyahs in a row, and yeah, we're still looking forward to see if they can get any more win on the last 3 matches that we have left. Okay, last question. Maal, bermain dari jarak jauh nih ya, nggak ada di studio bersama-sama karena kita juga sama-sama tahu lah seperti apa kondisi Indonesia saat ini. Apa yang mau disampaikan kepada teman-teman players dari tim Indonesia lainnya? Silakan dipikir-pikir, aku translate dulu ya. So, Maal, is there anything you'd like to say to the other Indonesian teams? Because we all know that not playing in the same studio is, of course, something that hits us differently. We all know the situation in Indonesia is not really okay right now. Is there anything you'd like to say to support the other teams and to support your own teammates in this type of situation?
Stay safe semuanya.
Stay safe everybody. That's it. Itu doang. Maal, aku samperin kamu ke sana ya. Beneran maksudnya bener cuma stay safe aja. Apa-apa? Semangat teman-teman. We're in this together atau apa kayak gitu.
Semangat guys.
Semangat guys. Keluarin dong suara Raja Iblisnya. 1, 2, 3. Semangat guys gitu.
Semangat guys.
Alright. Stay safe everybody, and thank you so much, Maal, for your precious time. Good luck with the rest of the games. Bye-bye. Okay, itu tadi Maal, but survivors, we're gonna go back to the game, but we're still going to have a bit of a break first. Jadi jangan kemana-mana, stay tuned only on Free Fire World Series Southeast Asia 2025 Fall.
Halo guys, gua I'm God dari tim Evos Divine, role gua Raser. Oh Joena ini, Joena Gorira. Oh bukan, tim Vietnam. Dengan satu huruf. Wih, siapa bang ya? Dari Heavy harusnya. Oh Nero, nggak tahu bang. Ini Crime. Oke. Oh ini kagak tahu nih. Terus saya dari Malai bang. Kurang tahu sih bang. Iya nggak bisa. Oke. Ini tim Indo harusnya Kagendara. Oh, tim Thailand. Falcon Geroro. Oke. Ini yang megang CBR Strines tim Vietnam plus tim Resident ya bro. Ini BTR Kojak. Oke om. Moshi. Siapa? Ini tadi nggak tahu. Oke. Ini siapa ya? Serius. Oke. Butuh counter Evos Divine di kalah hari dong.
Halo guys, nama gua Dut dari tim RRQ, role gua support system. Siapa ya? Aduh gua nggak tahu lagi bang. Dian, bukan ya? Bukan. Oh, skeleton. Ini mah anak Onik, keren. Nah, ya bener kan? Coba bang, cluenya. Tim Malaysia, gue tim bergambar kucing. Nggak tahu gak? Siapa itu bang? Ali. Nah, ini tahu player Indo juga. Raf. KG. Wah, ini musuh gua bang. Keroro. Siapa ya namanya? Gua tahu tapi lupa. Dead. Yakin. Gampang ini. Cluenya. Tim tanpa role sniper. Nyerah. Oh. Wah, ini mah. Mosi. Siapa ini bang? Kenapa ada gua bang? Aneh kali bang. I'm God. Tanpa clue gua bang. Tanpa clue. Ya buat semua tim good luck lah. Semoga kita bisa bertemu di Thailand nanti.
Week 3, Day 1 of the Free Fire World Series Southeast Asia 2025 Fall Knockout Stage Battle Royale Edition. Yes, it's just Day 1. We are still trying to figure out who is the first team to make it to the Grand Finals with our first place slot. And we're only halfway through the competition here, and so far, RRQ, they're looking to be the team to look out for because they are leading with a massive 57 points. But in second place, we have several teams hot on their tails, with 43 being the second. So all it takes is 1, 2, sometimes maybe even 3 games to have their spot taken. But AJ, we still have plenty more games to go through because again, we're only halfway through. We've just done 3 games. We've got 3 more to go.
And the teams that you said were close enough are teams like Faro, Falcon, WAG, Buriram, as well as EVOS. Yes, EVOS is still in pretty much shooting distance. Some may want to count Virtus Pro in there, but looking at consistency issues, I don't think Virtus Pro is going to be such a big threat for RRQ as of this point of time. But this next map is going to be crucial to identify exactly which team is going to be able to catch up with RRQ, because it's not RRQ's best map. They do have a Booyah here though, of course, but not really the highest number of points. Falcons, EVOS, as well as AGL, and AGL has got 2 Booyahs here at Burgundy to the name. So these 3 teams definitely can put up a strong fight, and this might just be the comeback map for AGL.
Well, speaking of AGAL, glad you brought them up. We are having a slight roster change here for AGAL. So Baros is going to be out, and they're going to bring Chinoi in for map number 4 here. So, I mean, if you're bringing in a new player, again, we've said this for some of the other teams. I think it was GOW that had a player swap in the leader. If you're bringing someone in, you got a plan. And I hope this plan works out for AGAL because I think they're trying to figure, I think their whole team out at the moment. They're just not having a great play day today because 19 points in 3 rounds. Yeah, something's not working. And I think at this point, you got to find out, okay, what is going to work? Is it a player issue? Is it a strategical issue? And I think they tried different strats for the past 3 games, and now they're probably trying to evaluate, is it a player issue?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think the practice to dominate on a stage as wild as this needs to come in a little bit more in advance. Right now, it's just go out there and it's do or die time. Unfortunately, in a good game of Free Fire, you do tend to falter quite a number of times if you cannot find the circle as consistent as some of these pro teams who are so good at reading the circle. RRQ has proven that to be their recipe for success game after game after game. They have got a 67% top 3 rate at this point of time, and honestly, they almost got a 100% top 3 rate if they didn't get taken out prematurely in that pincer by EVOS and the squad from Vietnam. So at the end of the day, if you are going to have your rotations on point, you're probably going to be on the higher end of the leaderboard overall, which is the point that a majority of these teams are still struggling with.
Yeah, look, it's like your methodical thinking for Free Fire. The word consistency is the bread and butter of this game. Like, if you can keep performing well, there's a good chance you're either going to win or you're going to place high. So, if you kind of want to start to kick into that consistency and high-performing consistency, not just average, you need high-performing consistency, it's now. Especially if you're within that top 5, because anything can happen up there. I don't think we're going to be locked into this 5-way for much longer, AJ. I'm going to be the bad guy here, as much as I love RRQ. Amazing team, they're looking fantastic. This team struggles with nerves sometimes, and I kind of feel like if the moment someone pressures them for that first place, the team cracks. They do sometimes have moments where I think the mental fortitude during the beginning of the tournament, it's good because it's a clean slate, but once that pressure starts to kick in, I think we've seen in a couple of tournaments, sometimes they do break mentally as a team.
How dare you talk about Mahal like that?
I love RRQ. What are you talking about? You're the unbeliever. I've been cheering for this team for I don't know how many seasons now.
Yeah, they've been stressing a tad bit too much, and we understand why, because once again, ever since the new ruling got brought in with Champion Rush and whatnot, things just haven't been faring well for them, because they've figured out many aspects of the game so far, when it comes to rotations, when it comes to the mechanical capability, when it comes to understanding exactly how to get the most number of eliminations to your side of the squad. But unfortunately, luck just doesn't seem to favor them at this point of time, and they never thought they would need luck. They always thought that they could just count on themselves, but this is just the universe and the game just showing them in the most cruel manner that you do need a little bit of a smile from Lady Luck as well. And that's exactly what Pharaoh had, right? All of the right elements towards that final game earlier on Bermuda. And you know, when luck is on your side, when you've got the right weapons, you can do a majority of the damage that's welded out there to pick up those crucial points. RRQ gets that on their side before the grand finals. It's just that on grand final today, they haven't been able to see much of it just yet. They have gotten so close so many times, and they just have not been able to close out in the way they expect to. But perhaps this is that season, right? The season where Buriram seems to be experimenting with something wild. Maybe now you can finally take that opportunity in your hands and run away with it.
Yeah. And maybe this is the season where we start to see the Lucky Charm meta, AJ, where historically in esports, not all teams do this, not all players do this, but some players will have Lucky Charms. So when they go to competitions, they'll bring things with them that inherently to them is their Lucky Charms. And I've heard all kinds of things being Lucky Charms. I would love for the players moving forward, considering how luck is such a strong element in this game sometimes, to bring their own lucky charms, whether it be to have a plushie on the table, maybe they have a drink that they like to drink for the final round. If they wear lucky socks, lucky clothing, I think it would be really cool if we can start seeing, like personal touches for the players, because as much as a competition this is, you also need to make sure that mentally you can also play at your best. Even though, let's say you've had the worst play day possible, we've seen teams come back from the brink of extinction. And all it takes is for that mentality to flip around. And so even just these little personal touches to the matches, tournaments, and for the players themselves, like your comfort, your mentality is really important alongside the luck. So I want to start seeing some things from the players. Bring your lucky stuff. Show us what you got. Show us your personalities too.
Yeah, maybe their lucky charm for the Vietnamese team is like a can of Red Bull. I don't know.
I think it's
bring it
universal.
in.
If that woman is on stage, the region just pops off. So bring in the host.
No comment.
No comment.
See, here's the thing, right? Many of teams have gone out there, they've given it their best. Maybe that's exactly what's missing here, that lucky charm. Maybe, they need to fall in love and try to prove something to their loved one or something. I don't know, but whatever it is, they better get it done now because we are running out of time. This season, you've got lesser days in play for Battle Royale, so whatever it is, you need to get yourself in check as quickly as possible. We've got 6 days, and these 6 days are technically, there's nothing wrong in not finding the early qualifier. There's nothing wrong at all, right? But if you do get it, you get an extra bit of break. And like I said, if you're one of the better teams out there who are good in strategizing and you're already decent with your gunfights, you get to study the other teams a little bit more easier. You don't have to be hustling each and every single day.
Yeah, I think I agree with you 100%. So, well, it's time to go, AJ. Match number 4 of the day. We do not have any other changes in our lineup, so everyone else aside from AGAL is going to be running the exact same lineup, and it is time to fly in to. Are we going to see some crazy shenanigans after we've had our break? Because I think this is probably the best time for teams to have had a talk with their coaches, the coaches to give them a rundown of what's happened, what they need to improve on. And most importantly, I want to see, is there going to be any challenging from some of these teams? Because I feel like sometimes this early game, you can't just have a completely passive in your own hand. And Osiris, unfortunately, will not be able to finish. Okay, Don, what's the play, Don? Are we just...
Got the advantage here.
Okay,
Who's got the
Don.
time turner? M1014 needs to put a little bit of a distance, jump back into the vehicle, and then the MP5, I think that's a misclick.
Oh, please, one. Oh.
Yeah, that's a misclick. Unfortunate for Don, and he got taken down a little prematurely here. GOW definitely not one of the better teams on this Purgatory map. The top three teams to look out for would be Falcons, EVOS, as well as AGAL. And if you want to throw a couple of more squads in there, that's WAG as well as Buriram. RRQ comes after that, and they're the only one who has had a very solid booyah here. They're very good at placements when it comes to Purgatory, but surprisingly enough, this is just one of those maps that RRQ is usually very silent on. They don't get a lot of eliminations.
Yeah, well, that's how they've been playing the entire tournament day to day anyway, right? Like, they've been very quiet. Obviously, they're looking for eliminations, but everyone's dodging them dodging them as best they can. So if RQ just gets the same game today in this matchup, where nobody harasses them, nobody bullies them, they have a free day of looting, I still think this team is going to be able to finish strong, whether it be only placement points or maybe it's a combination of both. So I really think some of these teams that are in that 2nd to 5th place, somebody's going to have to take that bullet for the rest of the team and basically eliminate the front runner. But aside from that little skirmish we saw initially from some of our teams, it looks like we are going to be seeing a bit of a quieter early game. As everyone repositions and figures out, okay, what is the plan? And they make their initial predictions. Where is the circle going to start heading?
And Dew finding a very early catch onto a Bigatron player. Koja taken out of the equation. AGAL pretty happy for sure with that engagement, but they are hungry for more because they definitely need quite a number of points to climb up the leaderboard. They're currently holding on to 19 points accumulated over 3 games, and that's not a lot at all.
No, it's really not a lot. And you're halfway through the play day as well, so got to pick up those points now. Otherwise, just treat the rest of these games as learning experiences. So AGAL going to run into Bigatron here. We'll be able to pick up a couple of bit of loot as well. Cypher, all it needs is to see a head pop out the corner, and he's kind of seeing he's going to go for it. Duani has no idea. Oh, but it's not the one shot though. So he is down to half health. But all Team SR going to shot down and Cypher. He tries to go forward, going to be able to hide himself between those blue walls. Chino not looking too healthy himself, but he will get cut down. And oh no, AGAL, this aggression turns on its head.
Cypher looking for some way to survive this encounter. And 590,
no.
Just enough to break down his own glue wall and then get sprayed down to oblivion by Kyong. One final survivor though, looking for the revival onto the full squad. And my goodness, Nameless there, he made that look way too easy, shutting down Moby.
Yeah, oh boy. Gonna switch on over to Buriram here. Now this is a big battle as well. RQ versus Buriram. If any of these teams are knocked out here, this would be a huge change in the leaderboard. Where they can't afford to lose this fight, otherwise they're out of the running potentially for that top 1 place. Now the thing is it going to be a full 4v4, or are they going to play this maybe a 3 versus 4 or 3 versus 3? It's too early, AJ, but they're going to make the commitment.
Yeah, what a nade by Dudes, taking away half the HP from Jonah. And AT&T attacking him with the FGL as well, but the med kit, super med, will come in handy in the nick of time. Ice grenades now just forcing Get High and Wasana out of their defenses. Jonah forced back as well, and AGAL falters so early on. Bigatron losing players as well to the side of PE Sports.
Oh,
While
Wasana's gone.
showdown between Buriram and RRQ continues. Jonah not in a lucky spot. And we are left with just Moshi. Riptide Rhythm, come on Moshi. Looking for one, and he finds it. And this is going to slow RRQ down. But a bait catches up. He looks for yet another. Can Moshi, the insane man, get this done all on his own?
If Moshi makes this play happen, it would be legendary. Oh, he's been caught. Buriram, 11th place. Oh, that's devastating. They got 3 eliminations out of all of that, but oh man, they get 0 placement points. AJ, does this mean Buriram is out of the running for top 1 today?
I mean, unless they score 40 points in the next game. We still have got 2 games where, 2 maps where Buriram is very solid at, right? Solara, they are the best performing team, and Alpine, they used to be the kings of Alpine at one point of time. So if we see a little bit of that version of Buriram, jumping back into this is going to be a no-brainer at all for the 2-time world champs. But of course, they crashed and burned there up against RRQ. And you gotta thank the nades out of RRQ for initially just tagging them up. And Moshi got involved in that fight way too late.
I was watching Buriram play that fight, and it almost seemed like they were trying to bait RRQ into Moshi. So they revealed 3 players, and obviously RRQ does not know where Moshi is, so they were trying to slowly back them in range of Moshi, but it was just the distance between Moshi and the rest of the team too far away for him to be a significant impact in that fight. So I think we both could see the concept there for Buriram. It was just placement-wise, positioning-wise, just too far for that trap to really kick in. So, and this is just the genius of this team, right? Like, yes, it didn't work out there, but they play Free Fire at a next level compared to
no
a
doubt
lot
at
of teams. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. And of course, shout out to Buriram on top on the YouTube chat as well. He called me sus for predicting that Buriram will not be qualifying in that number 1 spot today. I mean, come on, bro. My predictions are pretty much on point all the time.
Okay. Rubbing the salt in the wound, AJ, come on.
His name is Buriram on top. Buriram ain't gonna be on top today. That's all I said.
You have my sympathies, poor viewer. You have my sympathies. It's not over yet, though. We still got 2 more
No,
games.
not only are they not on top, they're down at the bottom. Look, they.
Jesus.
2 more games. 2 more games. I've got enough confidence.
Where's
in
the
Buriram
fire
to be back.
extinguisher, please?
Falcons though, just chilling, just burning some rubber out here, flirting with the circle. I'm not too sure why, but WAG about to approach a very dangerous squad in the version of EVOS Divine, who are looking for the top spot today as well.
Hang on there, WG. So what's the plan? Are you going to go for a wide angle of approach? They go straight to Bigatron. I'm nervous here, AJ. Okay, they reveal themselves and Bigatron. They just abandoned? Okay, I guess they weren't ready for this at all. They sacrificed a player. One's still there, but I mean, I kind of feel like this is a huge play for WAG because now they've got a huge vantage point and they can potentially see rotations for some of these teams. Okay, successful rotation for WAG. Who's at the mercy of WAG now? Actually, they're going to launch pad themselves into the circle. Okay. Very proactive play suddenly from WAG. Oh, into RQ.
That was planned.
Okay. Well, good news. That I don't think anyone from RRQ was in position to snipe them, but Ma'al probably caught sight of them. So we now have a bit of a situation here, folks. WAG versus RRQ.
Tikui. Oh, dangerous kid. Looking for the shots. Finds one.
Uh-oh. Can they
Ma'al. The grenades all get bounced back. What a solid glue wall from RRQ. And those nades do not do damage.
Falcons are on GAW's tail.
And let's see if they can find anything off of that position. Obviously, they're looking for the encounter. Pulls up a solid glue wall, GOW. Time turner as well. The extra layer of protection does not protect Demon, who turns his back, catches limit. Demon is still alive. On fire, going in for the save, but finds nothing. What a slippery man this Demon is.
Oh boy, Peanut in the corner. He's going to try and change the angle of approach here. And they've managed to corner them, maybe. They've got a Demon goes down there from Falcons, so we have to try and find a way to revive their player. Traps in the meantime, they're going in for a bit of a battle himself up against one. Bigatron will lose this one, and that's going to be an elim there for Todak.
Oh, yeah.
No teams eliminated though so far. So everyone's hanging on, just a couple of pot shots here and there, a couple of drops here and there. But we still are sitting on 10 teams, and everybody is on the side of Brasilia. Nobody is on the side, like on the other side of the river. But it looks like it's going to be where everyone is. So the party continues, AJ.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what a fantastic read of the circle by every single squad alive. And there's 10 of them at this point of time, which is just, calling for absolute chaos in a little bit. 37 players still alive. You still have a couple of vending machines out there. This circle is still tankable if you want to run out of the blue, grab a couple of revives, and then head back in. So 3 more players could be brought back in, but Bigatron trying to thin down the numbers before that does happen. Virtus Pro right outside, so Bigatron can't really get cheeky with this.
Can't get cheeky. If they could get a couple of eliminations, it would be really good for the team, though. Oh, but Juan's been caught there thanks to Diamond, and Juan gets sniped out too. So 1 player down already for Bigatron. Kyung running into the compound, going to be blocked out there. Going to use the glue wall. And now just a really awkward angle here for Bigatron. They can't really use the compound, but they can't also exit too far away because they might be within firing shot. They're gonna try and head out to the tractors, but I mean, I don't know if I agree with this play here, AJ.
I mean, it is
They both themselves out.
the nade just bounced off of the roof.
Nameless.
Kyung got away.
Kyung.
The Nameless trying to shut him down. Up close and personal. M590 up against the
Jinx.
Drogon, but now it's a 2v1. Kyung does not have the advantage anymore. And a double glue wall erected right in front of him. Nameless with the Superman trying to recover! And Kyung just missed a huge opportunity and puts himself in a little bit of a pickle. The players right after dropping their health right back up. 2v1. Too easy for Virtus Pro.
We're outside the circle as well, so these health bars are going to slowly start ticking down. Koja on the rooftop, he tried to prone to kill himself alive, but that's going to be another one there for Virtus Pro. And I think that might just be it there for Bigatron, unfortunately. These players just too far away from that circle, and even if they try to go in, they've got more teams to deal with. And correct prediction here for Pharaoh. Our team had just got the 3 in the previous round, on their way to maybe getting their next 3. The Falcons in the meantime though, fighting in the compound here as well for themselves. They're outside the circle, so they have to either figure out a way to get out or to win, but so far they're not winning though. Corona on the ground, Peanut been caught as well. It's out to Limit. Limit's the last remaining player. Oh boy, he's still alive. Might be a GG though. Oh boy.
Yeah, it's definitely a GG. The man stuck in a 4v1. He's got the AWM, but nowhere to go.
Do they know where he is? Oh, they know.
Looking for the finisher.
They know.
It's all about timing now. Hey, twist. Hell no. Limit jumps on out, but LBT says hello and bye-bye. Out in 8 is Falcons of all teams, and PE Sports looking strong towards the next circle. Doesn't really have to battle many squads to get into the next zone, but they have to be careful with the position Pharaoh holds on to.
Now, just look at the remaining teams. RRQ going to be here with 2 players down. Jordan Mal taking out 80
GG.
RRQ gone. Thanks to EVOS
GG.
opening the door for a couple of our top performing teams to take these points. Pharaoh wanting to grab those points. WAG wanting to grab those points and close that distance between them and RRQ for first place. All of a sudden, that race to first place, the race is on, AJ.
Oh, absolutely. And EVOS, one of the better squads here. But they are getting their numbers thinned down as well. Toda bows out in the 6th spot. Kochil needs to get picked up, but does the job on his own. Aim God just right behind him, looking for the cover as he recovers. Jump flanking around from the right-hand side with the Drogon being the first player to push on in. Takes a little bit of damage
the
from the ice
sandwich.
grenade. Cougar with a backup. With the Mag 7 of all things, but they bring out the Steffi to block out any of the nade damage EVOS could think of throwing at them, and now they stand in the driver's seat. And what a pump by jump! They shut down EVOS.
They shut down EVOS, meaning all these points now could potentially go to Pharaoh. Second
Wow.
place team. RRQ is out of the running. I mean, WAG is another contender, but look how injured this team is. They barely have anyone left. And PE, this is not a team that's competing for first place. So for Pharaoh, all they need to do now is if they can grab all of these eliminations and this booyah, this is going to catapult them up that leaderboard. And I think the question is, is it enough points to overtake RRQ? I think it's
Again,
close.
Pharaoh is just playing up against all of the data that they've collected in the competition. This is not a map where they're supposed to be performing, but they are going against all odds. They have got absolute ice in their veins, and Cougar gets tagged up by a nade, but that's not going to stop him just yet with the inhaler. Quickly tops his health right back up, aiming to shut down PE Sports from the opposite side. WAG is hanging on by staying silent in this equation, not wanting to pull attention to themselves.
No, smart play for WAG. Aim for those placements and basically just let Pharaoh and PE Sports settle the score themselves before they potentially go down.
Please.
Unless I think Police won. He's been spotted. He's hiding behind
GG.
Yes, he's actually going to have to try and go for the heal. Yeah, I think it's GG there for WAG.
Yeah, he got
I don't see Police One surviving. All right, it's a 4v4 here, AJ. Oh, wait,
LBT
LBT.
gets knocked down before PLS1. What in the world is going on? Lahore. PLS1, PSK turns around, gets the knock. Stolen away by Cougar, but PLS1 still standing. An unbelievable play by WAG's PLS1 to survive, but Pharaoh, from not performing 2 games in the Kalahari, Next Terra, they make a solid comeback with a back-to-back booyah.
So we had RRQ with the back-to-back. Now Pharaoh
Wow.
with the back-to-back. We need to see what these points are looking like on that leaderboard here. Has Pharaoh managed to catch up to RRQ? And if they haven't, what's the gap? Because now, if no one else is able to get booyahs, let's say RRQ and Pharaoh get the next 2 booyahs, we might have to deal with tiebreakers.
I mean,
Hey, I'm getting ahead of myself, but look, the dominoes are lining up for both teams.
they're definitely lining up, but Pharaoh, what a day, what a play, and what a comeback. They had nothing in the first 2 games, and then they score a massive 28-pointer, and now a back-to-back booyah to not just sneak back into the game, not just to sneak back into day 1 of week 3, but now to stand at that number 1 spot. That is an amazing climb, but unfortunately for them, they need to keep it up. Because just like how RRQ has now started to falter, we've got 2 more games, and anything can happen in these last 2 games. And these last 2 games are a huge potential for Buriram to make a comeback, and I think they're pissed because I don't think Buriram meant this to be a slow day. I think they got kind of caught off here, and these next 2 maps, Alpine and Solara, should be in the back pocket of Buriram, and I think we can expect some sort of magic to be played here. But of course, if that goes south, then GG.
Yeah, look, I would love for them to make a comeback happen in 2 games,
Yes.
but there's so many things out of their control as well. It's a matter of, can they get enough elimination points for both of those rounds? Can they even make it to that final circle? Because you don't know where some of these teams are going to be coming from. And are you going to get lucky with loot? Do you get the loot that you need to win the game? Do you get enough loot? Are you
Fun
not
fact.
being picked off early? Fun
Buriram
fact.
has collected 41 elimination points on both Alpine and Solara. Not together, but individually. So, and those are heavy stats for elimination. So they're definitely one of the heaviest gunners on this map. But like you said, everything needs to align, right? The stars need to line up here for the side of Buriram. You know, they don't have a booyah on Alpine, unfortunately, to stack up on their sides in terms of stats, but they do have the numbers to be one of the more threatening squads out there, so maybe they can make something work for them. But, you know, the position that they held, as well as the fight that they took early on in this Purgatory map, just really didn't fare them well at all. Taking on RRQ was just disastrous, and of course, they did manage to hurt RRQ just enough, and that kind of ruined the game for RRQ later on as well.
Yeah, I actually agree. If it wasn't for Buriram, I don't think RRQ would be in such a bad position. So we'll have to see if Buriram does it again. You know, maybe they try and pick a fight. RRQ, you know, you got to get your revenge. You know, who is the hungrier team? Is it RRQ or is it Buriram? Because look, if there's anyone that is starving right now, it's Buriram. They haven't had their fill. They've had,
Yeah, back-to-back booyah and back-to-back MVP here for the side of Jump out of Pharaoh. Once again running the Oscar with the Joseph Ford as well as Olivia. Surprisingly bringing Olivia in here. He's the rusher and he's also got the healing touch out of Olivia. He's kind of like the support player. I don't know what's the method here, but the method is definitely working in the madness of this chaos that we've got out here in FFWSC, and clearly it's working very well for the side of Pharaohs. 4 eliminations, 5 knockdowns, 2 assists, 2,312 on the damage. Jump definitely did a lot out there for the squad.
I have expectations for Pharaoh now. They've impressed us with these 2 games. After a disastrous start,
Yeah.
can they keep it going? And is anyone going to do anything about it? Is anyone going to say, okay, Pharaoh's had too many great games. We've got to find out what they're doing that is giving them so much success, which is where the coaches for these teams are going to start to kick in. They have to start realizing, okay, this is a problem team. What are they doing? What are we doing wrong? And how can we potentially deal with this? Do we need to dodge the team? Do we need to fight them early? Do we hot drop them? Are they maybe going to drop too close to us on these next 2 maps? Because these teams have data on each other, right? Like they had data from phase 1, so they better start working with that data now. Because honestly, I feel like it is going to be too late for some of these teams already because you only have 2 matches left. And if you fumble this next match for a lot of the other teams, I think that's it. You're going to have to just be like, okay, we can't get first place today. We got to get ready for tomorrow.
RRQ just let go of a 14-point lead at the number 1 spot of the table. They've given that spot over to Faro, who picked up a solid 24, whereas they only walked away with 8 points here. PE Sports with a little bit of a recovery play, but they are quite low down on the leaderboard. WAG picking up enough to still be in contention for the number 1 spot. So you can see Faro, RRQ, WAG on the top 3 spots now. But Falcons, EVOS, Buriram, not too far away. We can count in Virtus Pro as well if they get a map round. And technically, even if Bigatron walks away with a massive round in this next map, they still have a good chance. And remember, Bigatron, they call themselves the Kings of Solara, and Solara is their final game. So Bigatron, no matter what, needs to make sure they break through all odds and perform well at Alpine. Technically, that's their worst map. So they really have to pull out some sort of ace out of their pocket here. And they could just be your number 1 squad who qualifies first for the grand finals. Even the team that's in the 9th spot stands a good chance.
But they got to pull off 60 points in 2 rounds. I think that's what you got to aim for if you're bigger. It's a big ask. But look, if it happens, that would probably be one of the best ways, most explosive ways to make it into the grand final. But at the moment, it is still a dream. That reality has not kicked in yet because we are not in the game yet. So, look, teams are having discussions, people are going to the toilet. As far as I can see, there are no roster changes as well. So we are good to go for this next matchup. But if you got a plan B, if you have an ace up your sleeve, if you think you have a chance at coming in first today, you got to bring it out now. I think you can't save it for that last game because some of these teams are going to be out of reach of first place after this match.
Yeah, and of course, we are looking for the teams to go out there and give their very best. And honestly, guys, this is just pure entertainment in the world of Free Fire. We really don't care who makes the first qualifier because for us it's just all out fun watching these teams really go all out, try their best to wreck each other and earn a decent spot. But like you can see, the Southeast Asian lobby is not an easy one. Even dominant teams are not able to maintain consistency because of just a raw firepower in each and every single one of these squads out there. The potential from these teams are just way too big. So nobody can afford to sleep on, their opponents out there. They have to be really careful. They have to play their rotations very well. And one of the